Hello, this is Christine Sanders, and this is my Torn from the Headlines presentation. For my Torn from the Headlines project, I selected a couple of video shorts as the media for reviewing and talking about as part of this project. These were both available in theatlantic.com and are from the 2015 Aspen Big Ideas Festival. If you want to take a little bit of time and review the shorts quickly, they're each about 2 minutes long. It'll give you some perspective on what these media are offering us and working to do as part of embedded content in this site. But quickly, the first one is just a few speakers touching on some of the biggest environmental problems people don't know about that are out there per some experts. And the second one is an immediate follow-on to that. Same speakers highlighting a few tools that may be possible for us to utilize in an attempt to stop some of these environmental disasters they touch on. Before we talk in more detail on the content of the video clips, I want to tell you a little bit more about theatlantic.com and the Aspen Big Ideas Festival, and then talk a little bit about video shorts in general. But first, Atlantic.com. The website is a very dynamic, content-rich website today, but really the Atlantic in its entirety is an old publication founded in 1857 per the website, and it truly has seemingly evolved into a multimedia format, offering content from both staff writers as well as guest bloggers on everything from politics to business to technology, entertainment, and cultural activities in general. Per the website again, it works to stir national conversations and attempts to take an unbiased approach in those conversations. And it has a sister publication known as the City Lab that you may want to take a look at, which is more focused on urban life and again works to promote national conversations or conversations about activities facing urban dwellers. So again, for as old of a publication that it is, imagine what it looked like in 1857. It's actually working to become a very progressive multimedia organization and really has done a pretty impressive job from my perspective in changing with the times, it seems, as there are very few publications that have had that sort of lasting power. The second entity that I want to touch on, just to give you some perspective, and I think it's interesting that these shorts were done in conjunction with a Big Ideas Festival, this one being the Aspen Big Ideas Festival. It seems it was launched in 2005, and it is a joint venture co-produced by the Aspen Institute and the Atlantic. And it's basically a leadership engagement conference or gathering, if you will, bringing a variety of professionals, scientists, educators, activists, and others together simply to promote dialogue around challenging issues. There are numerous presenters and session attendees at these festivals. And then lastly, I wanted to touch on communications, the medium of communications that I've selected, which is video shorts or video clips, just to tell you a little bit more about them. They are, I'm sure as many of you know, one of the most active mediums in use today, as it relates to communications efforts, both formal and informal. Just look at the number of hits that YouTube has at any given moment in time. But what a video short or clip is a short video, often part of a longer recording that can be used on a website. That's the definition per MacMillanDictionary.com. But generally speaking, it is purposeful to, and especially when embedded in a site such as the Atlantic, in conjunction with the Aspen Big Ideas Festival, they are purposeful. So even when they sometimes may seem fun or silly or light, or you ask yourself the question, what could possibly be learned or communicated in seconds or mere minutes, they are designed and well regarded as being impactful in terms of agenda setting and, at a minimum, at least early knowledge transfer on subjects. There have been some studies showing that the brevity of a communications medium, such as a video short, really does offer an opportunity for comprehension of key points. And if you think about that from a communication standpoint, that's exciting, it's interesting, it's a little scary and dangerous, if you consider what people, or what decisions may be taken based upon such short sets of information exchange, or such a limited communications activity. But I selected this because it's unquestionably accurate when I say, this is the world we live in, right? This is how lots of information is shared today, and how follow-on decisions can be made on any given subjects. These subjects being the environmental problems, that people don't really think about or know about, and the best tools to stop them. And you'll see when we get into the next slide on it. It's an interesting question to ask. Can anything so important really be talked about in such a short format, and can that happen in a constructive and successful way? And I'll leave that as a hanging question because I don't pretend to have that answer, but I wanted to just put that out there for you all to consider. So this really brings me to the issues that are mentioned in the clips, which I hope you had the opportunity to take a look at them. But if you didn't, I'll tell you that within two-minute video clips, there are 3 to 4 speakers, with varying backgrounds, some with impressive credentials, from my perspective, some more entertaining in ways when you consider the activist slash race car driver. But they're provoking thought, or working to provoke thought on very real issues, that need long-term or lengthy consideration, is the better way to say it today. And those include climate change, the availability of fresh water, ocean acidification, species extinction or developmental issues, food chain disruptions, and beyond, really. So again, it's just quite interesting to consider that so little time can be involved in at least opening up the conversation or beginning the conversation around a handful of major environmental issues that we face. So in the last slide, we talked for a minute about the question really around can so many conversations around important subject matter such as environmental challenges we face as a planet be touched on in limited video format such as these clips offer, and really is it an appropriate means, or is it a successful communications approach? And what's interesting is when you consider these videos as part of agenda setting theory, and then start to dive into the framing, the salience of the subject matter. And I think the answer, again, going back to the point I made earlier on YouTube, and even really any other website that one visits today, where more and more content and information sharing is being shifted into the video format, the answer, has to become, yes, this is a communications theory that is working. And if that answer is yes, then when we talk about it in terms of agenda setting, how do we utilize that to be constructive in our approach in wanting to be environmental communications experts, and then beyond that in any other communications capacity, both professional and or personal. But back to the agenda setting theory, and considering exactly how this applies, or these video clips apply to agenda setting. If you take a look at the framing and what they've done, they're showcasing experts and plainly spoken in a casually presented format, expressing real concern on subjects they want the audience to simply begin thinking about. And really, I chose the two-part format because, you know, video one is asking these questions, planting the seeds, if you will. And at the end of it, you're left feeling a little bit helpless, or questioning, okay, what is it we should do or can do? And then it rolls into video two, which gives the exact same speakers sharing with the audience some easy touch solutions that maybe should be considered. One being, let's just get our kids back outside so they're connected to the wildlife that is being affected by some of these breakdowns in our environmental um, our atmosphere. It's the framing is a successful one in my opinion, because they're not speaking above the audience in any way. They're not dressed above the audience in any way. Again, it looks like a group of smart, casual, caring people, just asking some thought-provoking questions and giving some very casual solutions that the average person feels they may be able to help with, as we work on our environmental challenges together. The second bits of that are, if you consider the salience of it all, they're speaking in terminologies, the observations and opinions that they're sharing. There's very powerful visualization that becomes part of that, regarding some of the negative impact occurrences. They describe malformed ocean life, or to really communicate the visual on the size of availability, or the amount of available fresh water. They give us the examples of the sizes of the various balls that may be representative of the freshwater, saltwater land breakdowns. Again, just making it attractive, from my perspective, in many ways, for the listener to hear what they're saying, and want to become part of the solution. In my mind, the agenda was set, and that was the purpose of these clips. So, in summary, what does this all mean? For me, what this means is we as communicators and as communications professionals need to really consider every medium available to us, and work on the right balance for advancing the conversation. So the right balance of print and video and web-based content in a variety of formats to do what these creators have done, and really is promote the dialogue, advance the understanding, strike up something within the audience members that calls to action, ideally for them to want more knowledge, more information, to want to be a part of the solution. And again, as we look at it, as video clips, part of a festival, made up of leadership and a variety of other personalities, embedded on a publication site that dates back to the mid 1800s, but yet is, continuing aggressively to be part of that progressive conversation at all times and in a variety of formats. It's extremely interesting to me to think about the brevity of the video clip, and these pieces, and what their impacts may have been or could be going forward. I feel, that it's a good choice these content creators have made, because when I watched the videos, it emoted something in me a bit. But I'm interested in your opinions as well. And beyond that, the Atlantic. Is it interesting that these are on the Atlantic, or not really, because you think of it as a certain type of publication? All of that said, a couple of questions just to prompt discussion are summarized on this slide. Do you think videos? Do you feel videos are effective communication media? And can they? Are they enough to get an action-oriented response from the audience? If not, what do you think's missing? Does it take more? And then secondly, do you think either of the videos, if they only did one of the videos versus both, does your opinion in that change? Is it enough, or are you left too hanging by the first one, or too confused if you only watch the second one, or it's not enough? And do you think it's interesting that they've packaged it in this fashion, and has that helped further the agenda that they've worked to address? And lastly, because the list of environmental issues they touch on is seems like a ton. No question, it all ties back to climate change per the introduction of the first video. But are they trying to do too much in 2 minutes, or two-minute segments? Would they have been better served to really dig a little bit deeper into just one of those, or not? Or do you think that this was pretty smartly crafted, and that they were more successful in setting their agenda in the way that they have them designed? So thank you very much, and I look forward to continuing discussing environmental communications with all of you.